Sea of Thieves Season 15 has just launched and I am supremely impressed with the release for the game. Long have we all waited for the game to bounce back, with this being the first update in a long time that has felt like a true return to form. The Hunter's Call has desperately needed an update since, well, forever, and was mysteriously skipped over in Season 11's company overhaul, being the red-headed stepchild of the bunch. While it was clear that some content was held back, Rare has done right by the company and potentially will be the most diverse company once the season concludes. Firstly, the offerings of Season 15 Wild Things may feel a bit small. Despite being larger than some whole seasons before, this is only part 1 of 3, since March and April will also see the remainder of the content roll out. This was done to keep the stability in check and ensure we have a steady flow of content. This update added 2 new Ancient Megs, the Plunder and Season Passes, extended progression for the Hunter's Call, an emissary flag for them, and the new fishing voyages, bringing them in line with the other companies from Season 11. Let's kick things off with the company changes. The Hunter's Call now has 5 distinctions or 500 levels total. While some really great rewards have arrived as part of Commendations and up to level 100, the rings return as a disappointing offering, with no real incentive to progress past Distinction 1. But the costume, ship set, and trinkets all appear as part of the new content. If you've been maxed out for years, at least the line will go up and there's rewards for engaging in the new content. The emissary flag has been added and works the same way as other companies. The Hunter's Call reps have moved to the docks, so no need to sail to a seapost. Oh, and there are ledger rewards for the Hunter's Call too. You can now dive to raids to find Hunter's Call loot. The raids remain the same, and you can't dive to anything like the Kraken or Megs. Again, more on that soon. The new loot all looks very nicely designed and stands out from the others well. The 2 new Megalodons really surprised me. While it would have been nice to have a Kraken overhaul, a reskin of 7-year-old content is a bit of a disappointment. This is what I would say if that were the case, but the team has managed to take an existing threat and make it feel unique by incorporating unused mechanics. These 2 Ancient Megs are mean motherfuckers, and are fought only when you achieve Grade 5 Hunter's Call Emissary. Once you achieve it, one of these new Megalodons is automatically marked on your map. Simply sail to the location to encounter it. The Barnacle Dread is the most unique. It has pieces of coral armor that must be shot off, revealing its soft flesh, incorporating the first weak point into the game. If it attacks the ship, it shocks the crew and summons ocean crawlers, something left over from the pirate life tall tales. The ship is no longer safe from ocean threats. I love this Meg's design and it feels like a worthy upgrade rather than a retexture, although the lore nerd in me prefers the red more. This Ashen Meg was first teased in 2018 with the release of Forsaken Shores. The Redmore will attack with fiery gnashes, setting the ship on fire and dealing explosive damage. It can also release an explosion from a distance, massively damaging the ship. While the Barnacle Dread is a bit more mechanically different, the Redmore has exceeded my expectations immensely and feels like a long lost pet of Captain Flameheart. Both have much more health than their predecessors, and probably goes toe to toe with the OG Hungering one. As for the voyages, well, they're basically just voyages that allow you to fish on demand. The fishing gameplay itself hasn't changed, but the new loot is cool, as each category of fish has a new version that behaves like loot and not food. The Chest of Fortune is back in the Fort of Fortune, where it belongs, with the Regal Fortune set continuing once more. On a side note, this set is fucking sweet. The Season Pass is one of the best yet, with the Hungering 1 set continuing and being fleshed out with a full set. Well, kind of a full clothing set. The legendary items are Hunter's Call themes too, with the Pass's theme being spot on, just like Season 13, although I would say Season 13 had better legend items. Still far too many useless slots and still no infinite tier at the end, as per usual. I'll bring this up until it changes. The Plunder Pass is cool, it's the Dynasty of the Deep set, there's not really much to say about that one. The commendations so far are straightforward and give you further rewards for partaking in the fishing voyages and Meg hunts, with some cute challenges in the case of the latter, like trying to put the Redmore out with a bucket of water. The team are yet to add the coolest curse, the Hungering 1 curse, which is something we've been begging for years. This marks the first curse that's earnable since 2022. I might rock this, I'm so glad this wasn't paid only like the Shrouded Ghost curse. Although this will be available for completing all the new commendations, so we have something to look forward to when all the content is being released. Basically, we have to wait until April to earn this. The Outpost stock has been bolstered with the Lucky Hand instruments, which they're really dragging out at this point. We should get the Cursed Bone stuff by, what, 2092 at this rate? Speaking of, Season 8's Season Pass items return, including said Cursed Bone set. Flameheart's hat and cutlass also make a much needed appearance. Shame these weren't tied to the Burning Blade Commendations or Hourglass, they missed a trick for us to return to that content. but these are located in the Reaper Company shop, that's why you can't find them. The Emporium has been refreshed with the Rococo set, featuring a ship, costume, and weapons to boot. Some emotes are there, and the awesome new pet pigs have arrived. Rare, please continue with the pets, they're actually worth the money, and I can now force my pet pig, Borat, to eat its porky brethren. The content seems pretty light on the surface, but we have more Hunter's Call voyages for the current Megs and Alpha Boars, the throwing spear, ambient wildlife, and the new land threat that I just mentioned, being wild boars. These are coming in the next couple of months. Several performance upgrades have also taken place with server multi-threading, island optimizations, and improvements to FPS, so in theory, the game should feel much smoother. Based on my experience playing yesterday, it did feel a bit better. Again, take this with a pinch of salt since we know how quickly the performance can regress. I'm being cautiously optimistic here. For me, this feels like 2020 again, and I mean that with the utmost pleasure. While it seems small due to the 4-month wait, it still goes toe-to-toe with some of the smaller seasons, and we're not even finished yet. Season 15 has launched nicely, and I can't wait to see how this new or old style of content rollout affects the health of the game. The Hunter's Call finally respects your time. The team should be proud of this initial launch, and it's possible they've started another redemption arc for this game.